alrighty, there. All right, all right. It is five. No, no. We changed the time a little bit. So we at 30 minutes earlier. It is 4:30 on the dot, and it is a Saturday, the 21st of October, 2023. And we about to get to the week that was. Oh my goodness gracious me! What a roller coaster week we've had. How many adjournments did we have this week? Which was very much justifiable, I must say, because we got ourselves like a new guy on the block by the name of, is it Tulani? Or yeah, is it Tulani Mngomezulu, right? Advocate Tulani Mngomezulu. Who he rocked the boat. He definitely rocked the boat, and I was so happy. But first, let's start with the what happened in court on Monday, which kind of like was it Monday or Tuesday, where I was getting excited with what's his name, the two witnesses that took the stand in the beginning of the trial within a trial, Mboto and Munareng, and then the judge makes a ruling. The judge says, "I make a ruling that." Mr. Mboto as well as Mr. Munareng will be cross-examined or re-cross-examined by the new advocate, which is Mngomezulu. And yeah, he makes a ruling. I think it was a Friday, if I'm not incorrect. Please correct me, because I was excited when I heard that. Yes, we did not know Mngomezulu. We didn't know what type of an advocate he was, if he was bringing in the game or what. But the fact of the matter is that the judge made a ruling. Who, by the way, I thought, why are you so well behaved? What do they know about Ngomezulu that we don't? But anyways, that we are not there. I was still on this motto being recalled because I do not want to be dishonest with this one, because I do like Ramusipili so much that I feel like I need to defend him. But I must also be honest that when he cross-examined Mboto as well as Munareng, he didn't bring it. He didn't bring what was supposed to be brought regarding accused number one. Accused number one, I do believe that he was tortured. I do believe that everything that he says or denies is true, because we are dealing, guys, with a syndicate of some sort. I think this is my thinking, guys. Senzo Mewa gets killed in October of 2014. The police sits on their laurels. They do absolutely not. If they did do something, you must also remember back then it was during the time where people were doing as they please. I think people were doing as they please. The things were just not going according to how they were supposed to be going. The police themselves, they were, I don't know who was in charge back then. It was not Natim Tattoo. I think it was um what's his name again? Is a minister as well. The former ANC Youth League president, Balula. I think he's the one that took over from Natim Tetwa. And yeah, I think he just let things slide, because he was too focused on things that he shouldn't be focusing on. Yes, he was Minister of Sports at the time in the World Cup, but that was already 4 years later. Why were we still having that honeymoon phase? And everything under his watch was falling apart in the police system. Police were just doing as they please. And now that South Africans are like, "Hi, boo, Senzo Mayo was killed. Hi, boo, Senzo Mayo was killed." In 2015, I took a decision that I'm no longer going to be following this case anymore, because, of course, we are not going to get to the bottom of who killed Senzo Mayo. Why? Because I looked at the police. The police were doing as they pleased, you guys. They were not investigating cases, even themselves, amongst themselves. There were no promotions that were taking place. And so they were demoralized, and things were just not going well, people. Things were just not going well. So they felt like, why should we, when we are not getting remunerated for the hard work and putting our lives in danger as things were in 2014, maybe up until, okay, nothing has changed. Let me just put it there, nothing has changed. And so they were complacent. They did not do a due diligence on the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. And then I think when South Africans started putting pressure on the government about this particular, because we were not shutting up. Okay, I had given up, but many I would see on social media people asking about Senzo Meyiwa's murder. When is it going to be solved? Who killed Senzo Meyiwa? To a point where Bheki Cele was appointed the Minister of Police, and he started making Christmas promises. Do you remember the Christmas promises? I promise by this Christmas. Then the next Christmas come. I promise by this Christmas, and the next Christmas come. I promise by this. And I'm like, what about the other three Christmases that you already promised us? Still, no arrest, no leads, nothing. And then out of the blue, in 2020, when we were being strangled by, Kororo, that disease we cannot mention on YouTube. We had Kororo, and in the middle of Kororo, some people are arrested. Amongst those people that are arrested, it is accused number two, whom right now we are dealing with his case. But then before we get there, then of course, because of the pressure, somebody somewhere up there said, hey, when I just get any Tom, Dick, and Harry you can find on the street. But before you get to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, make sure that one of them at least is not educated enough, but the majority must have cases that links with either being inkabi, hitman, or some sort like that. And then we link that with the murder of Senzo Mewa. But they forgot one thing at the same time, or several things they've forgotten, that why would Senzo Mewa a hit be put on him? I feel that is a very stupid move that was made. That let's pin this on Inkabi that are known to be Inkabi, and these Inkabis they deal with taxis and they deal with politicians. Why would they go and deal with a soccer player? And why Senzo Mayo alone at that time? Because if there was excuse me, if there were match fixing of some sort back then, why wouldn't they have gone to specific soccer players and specific goalkeepers at the time who refused to do as they are asked, and then they sent hits on them? And then how would putting a hit on a goalkeeper make any difference anywhere in the soccer fraternity? Is what I want to know. But now, because South Africans were putting pressure, I think either the person that's chicken and pinning cases against people that did not commit this crime either took bribes from the people who are responsible in the death of Senzo Mewa. Again, I will keep repeating this. There were 6 people or 7 people because there's a DNA that links somebody, a female individual that cannot be identified. So possibly 7 people were Senzo Mewa on the 26th of October 2014. And some of them, or all of them, I don't know, may have bribed this particular investigator. And at this point, we can only allege, we can only allege at this point in time that it is Gininda. And now Gininda is having like, okay, how do I salvage this? And as a result of that, we are here today. Today we are here, pinned the wrong case on wrong people, took the correct docket, destroyed it, or whatever the case is, because we know that there is an original docket that was found by a member of the public. And secondly, we know also, or we heard, let me just say that this way, and we also heard that there is another, what do you call this, officers that were investigating this case by the name of Makubo as well as Buthelezi, who found the truth. And today, Buthelezi resigned from the subs altogether. Why? And secondly, we have Makubo, whom we are hearing that his life is in danger because of a docket that he opened with the real names of the people or a real name of the person that killed Senzo Mewa. And because the overall head investigator realizes, this is going to put me in trouble. I might actually find myself arrested either for taking bribes or destroying of dockets. And then, of course, I'm not quite sure what's the punishment there. And this is the reason why we are here today. And then, in order for him to continue on this path, he needs to find dodgy people like him. He needs to find dodgy magistrates. He needs to find dodgy police officers that are going to take the stand and practically lie under oath on those on the witness stand. He found all kinds of people that we already witnessed, and we're like, no, that's not the truth. We may not be experts, we may not be lawyers, we may not be judges, we may not be any type of professional or psychologist for that matter. But guess what? We have brains though, and our brains going together with our ears and eyes, they're like, you're lying through your teeth. And we've been saying that with all the states, what do you call this, the witnesses, except for two. That is Mchali, as well as there's a latest one that also came, and we were like, yeah, we believe you. You are telling the truth. Everyone else has lied, including the current witness under trial within a trial, that is Magistrate Vivian Cronier. But with Vivian Cronier, we feel like there's something special about her case. And then we try to make of it, like I said to you guys the other day, as I was listening to this trial within a trial, her taping Ntanzi without his permission or his knowledge. Why? Why would a whole magistrate who's been a magistrate since 1997 or 6 and has sat through at least more than 50 confessions will deliberately omit the fact that she was taping this with what do you call the suspect without his permission or knowledge for that matter? Why? So I think she was leaving little nuggets along the way that, hey, listen, guys, I cannot necessarily speak out because either I'm saying either, okay, maybe I'm gonna allegedly, maybe she was a corrupt magistrate, and this particular investigator knew that she's the right person. And secondly, because if you were listening to the cross examination, especially of yesterday between, from Advocate Mngomezulu to Cronier, there were a lot of questions I had in mind. Like, what? You are a magistrate. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? Yet again, I did the mistake that I made last week, and I'm going to try and fix it while we talk. So I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, ma'am. What? How is that even possible? You know, that as a magistrate, you don't ask or you're not listening to what the suspect is telling you. The suspect is telling you that I haven't bathed in 8 days, or before he even gets to being to bathing in the last 8 days. He says to you, "I have not been to court." So now, as a magistrate, you know that there is a law under the Criminal Procedure Act as well as the Constitution that says that you ought to have been in court or charged within 48 hours. Why didn't she take that one out? Why didn't she take that one up and say, hey, how come I'm brought a person that has not been charged in the past 48 hours? And then when she hears that this gentleman was on the first time he actually was appeared before a court is almost 100 days later, 27th of October 2020. Almost 100 days, if not more than 100 days. And secondly, the what do you call this? The suspect at the time is not arrested in her jurisdiction, but he's arrested where all the way in Northwest. Why didn't you ask all those questions like, where were you arrested, sir? And then but then again, oh wait, again, I am trying my level best to defend as well this Miss Cronier person because I feel like there are other parts where she was just, I was doubting her, but that feeling, my intuitions can be really, really strong when they want to. My intuitions were like, no, this lady, even under oath, she still needs to convince the people that forced her into this position that indeed she is fighting with them and for them. But it's not coming out correctly. I don't know if I'm making any sense. So all these questions is not asking about where were you arrested, sir? Of course, Ntanzi would have said I was arrested in Northwest. And as a magistrate who understands these jurisdictions, she would have said, no, this is incorrect that you are being questioned in Gauteng, particularly in Boksburg. Why don't they get a magistrate in Northwest, Rustenburg or something, to do this job? Why me? That is why I said to you guys, if I was a defense lawyer, which I think Advocate Mngomezulu did ask, but in a lawyer type of way, which I was like, I'm satisfied with the question you are asking Miss Cronier about jurisdiction. He did not press on it too much, but he created something in the court's mind that pay attention, or at least note that the deponent was arrested in Northwest, not in Gauteng, and especially not in the East Rand, which is Miss Cronier's jurisdiction, right? So then in my mind, I'm like, why didn't you ask that question? Then the suspect continues to say, or the deponent continues to say, listen, I haven't taken a bath in 8 days. I haven't spoken to my family in 8 days. In 8 days. Plus, there's a lawyer right before him who is supposed to be the one that says my client, magistrate, has not one, two, three, four, and we are demanding one, two, three, four before we can even start with this process. Especially within 48 hours, my client has not seen a magistrate, which now brings me to where is this so-called lawyer coming from? Who is he? Who is he? Is the question that I see everybody is asking. So before I continue with my thoughts, let's get to the live chat because I see y'all. It is all lit up. Thank you guys for coming through. If you want to come through and also voice your opinion or your self-appointed expert's opinion, come through. I'm going to leave a link right now. It's coming on. Here we go, and then we can talk, guys. Remember, all of this is not just about Senzo Mewa. There are so many other stuff that is going on in South Africa. If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. But of course, we're going to talk more about this. So that is just the foundation that I have in my thoughts about what happened this week. And Judge Rata changing his own ruling because overnight he was like, because the thing is, why Rata was the best candidate to sit in this case. That's my question now. Why was he the best candidate? He's retired. Why couldn't they have gotten another retired judge other than Rata Mokgoatleng? What is it that Rata Mokgoatleng they have on him? Because hey, people, when he was reading the judgment yesterday, literally and drinking. Okay, I have water. Like, judge, it's not like you've never delivered a judgment before. You've been a judge for how long? And yet, and you are. What's going on, sir? What is going on? Are you going to rule against what you were told not to rule against? You get what I'm trying to say here. So that's why I believe that they had to get people that either they were dodgy in their practice or are dodgy in their practice, and then they bring them on the stand. And I'm not saying that Judge Rata is a dodgy person. I don't know him. I don't know what he has done as a judge in the past. I don't know why they chose him, but I have to question. I have to question what exactly is going on because what we are witnessing, I was cringing for him yesterday. Cringing. I could feel the pain. He was, oh my goodness, that judgment. I never want to see a judge behave in that manner. Not like behave, like pushed in such a corner that it was sad. It was sad to watch, especially for an old man. It was sad to watch. Let's go on. Gugu Pretty says, hi guys, how are you, Gugu? How are you? Tandy says, hey Clantis and the clan. Hi Tandy, how are you doing? Tando says, marking myself present, myself appointed Amate. Quick tick. We see you. Merv 03 says, but the Rata was shaking, feeling the heat. Yes, why? Why was he shaking? From Mngomezulu, he's nearly had heart attack while reading his own judgment. That was pretty, for me, it was cringeworthy. It was cringeworthy. I was scared for him. I'm like, my goodness, are you okay? Judge, are you okay? What's happening? Because I don't know. I'm not a person that sits in court. I'm not a person that sees judgment being delivered but I have seen several judgments being delivered on television before. In the what do you name Nantipa Makutumana, we've seen Judge Lobster never shaking. We've seen that magistrate also in Bloemfontein not shaking. What's happening with this one? What's going on? I don't get it. Google says siyasonke amaphoyisa ayafeyila ukuthola ubufakazi basetshenzelwa umphakathi ukuthola isigebengu. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it seems the coconut is improving. Yo. Pezeka says, hi, Clan Fam. How are you, Pezeka, guys? Good to see you here. Tempi says, yayazi inchomutsomana. Yeah, I think I get what you're trying to say. Ingubevane. It's yiwishiwishi nje, wishy-washy. Akwaziwa, spitty just go on in that God. I get you, Tembi. I get you. Mer says we're closer to opening of 375. Are we ever going to get there? Is my question. And in my mind, I'm thinking it's not going to be done by Baloyi. What's her name? Shamila Batohi needs to make a decision as NDPP regarding 375. And I'm not quite sure what she's waiting for because the state's case, her case, like I said, it's burning in hell, practically burning in hell right before our eyes. So I would have like, okay, guys, here's a warrant of arrest. Go arrest all these people. We would have woken up this morning, at least not this morning, yesterday, with what do you call this? With in the news that several people have been arrested in the killing of Senzo Meiwa. That's what I would have thought. But okay, they are still holding on. I don't know to what. Janelle says, good afternoon, Clantis. And oh, I say, yeah, hi, good Janelle. Thank you so much. Google came back and said, angeke bathole ubufakazi ngoba nawo amaphoyisa aphila ngobugebengu. Well, we are the members of the public. We see them. We see them. Oh my goodness, did you guys see the Metro Police in Johannesburg arresting their own? With me when I did my license, I know I'm not interested in cars at all. I have no interest in cars. The first time I took my license, I was 34 years old. The very first time. And the reason why I had to take a driver's license because my job was beginning to take me out of the province. I was living in Durban. So it was taking me out around KZN. And I got sick and tired of either taking a plane from King Shaga to Richards Bay or from what do you call this, Durban to South Coast, and then again have to hire a car and drive to where I got tired, so I decided, you know what, let me go get myself a driver's license. And when I did my driver's license in Pietermaritzburg, the guy that was testing me, he suspected that I may be a one of them, and I'm investigating because he looked at me and was like, "There is no way that at your age you are taking the license for the first time." So he could not ask for a bribe, but I've heard that those guys that they take at that time I got mine. Yeah, I can't remember which year was it. Yeah, but it was little. Yeah, a few years after the World Cup, I think. So what you call this? He was so suspicious. He kept asking me questions and disturbing me while while I'm being tested. And I'm thinking, okay. At the end, then I also became smart. I'm like, yeah, actually, I am undercover. The reason so that I do not pay EHAW, they call it back in Durban, they call it EHAW to like Viga. Even if you are good, they will still want you to pay. And then I don't want to lie. Somebody said you better have that money with you, but I did not have it. I told myself I would rather fail because I don't even care about this whole thing, anyways. But when you did you see on the news yesterday? One person with over 30,000 and they made in less than 4 hours. I was like, wow, wow. But anyways, we are not there. I don't know why I got distracted with that one. Oh yeah, because Kuku said police they also do crime. So that's what I remember because us as the members of community, we do see Amanyama Poisa committing crimes, and then we do not know exactly how to get them held accountable. Rosina says, I think Cronier fears for her life. Highly possible. That's why she is trying to rise red flags by mentioning 8 days not bathed. May I call my family my child? Yeah, there's a high possibility about that one. Very, very high possibility. Um Masabata says, hi, blessed clan family. Blessed to you too. I felt for Mamkulu, Rata, Mamkulu when he was you you referred to the members of the clan will kill your promise. Rata when he was reading the judgment, he was shivering and sinos. Okay, okay. I see the red face, blue eyes. Mvula says Minister Begi, the Minister of Police, fearing the private prosecution from F Forum with Advocate Kherinel, put an undue pressure from the NPA and the police. That's true. And I think they should now start launching that private prosecution because the direction we are taking ain't right. Maria says, love us. Of course, we got to love us. This is the best community on YouTube. I will continue to say the clan, you guys are the best. Google says Rata he was tantalizing uphuza amanzi angaqedi ngoba uyazi ukuthi uBaloyi angeke win this time. Yeah. So for the first time, he went against whatever the orders that he got when he took this case. Tahila says, I agree with you, Rosina. Linda says, if there were Izinkabi in the house, or no one would come out of that house. Collateral damage is considered to erase evidence. That's very true. That's very true. You leave no witnesses behind, including a child, unfortunately, from what I have heard. Because children, they got photographic minds. Mer says, akaze ngibone urada etatazela kanje. Hi, bo. Hi, people. I was like, hey, no. This is sad. Dan says, "Hey, Clantis, what's up, bro? What's up?" Okay, I see. You see when you guys use those emojis, it doesn't show on this side. It just shows long words. For example, with Dan, I think he used the purple blue. This is what he says: purple blue piece, hand purple blue piece. You know, whatever emoji that you use. The ones that actually I can see, the old ones, the yellow faced ones, those are the only ones that we are able to see. All the other ones that are new, we don't see anything. They just write words. If Mngomezulu stays on board after the TWT, we will walk this trial right into docket 375. Yeah, yeah. I think at this point, the National Prosecuting Authority is pushed against the wall. It needs to make arrests. It has to make arrests based on 375. Kuku is laughing, and then you see when you send those all emojis, I can see what that is. Tembi says Senzo was killed because he was against the drug syndicate, and then that emoji. He wanted to expose them. I'm still not convinced, eh? I'm still not convinced that there was a hit on him. Cynthia says, Sanibonani, hello Cynthia, how are you doing? Uh, okay, let me accept Noni. Okay, I'll come back to you. Let me finish here. Thank you for coming through. Mer says Gomezulu was on Seven Delano. My friend. Why? Why be so? Google says, angikwaziyo, uKelly, she was a drug addict at the time, apparently. Dan says, Tembi, no, it was because he was clapping Peacock and Longwe was jealous. Tempe says, "Shoo, a lot has happened there. Oh, this week was beautiful." Tempe says, "Kelly Zandi babe chiwa ngos zobobabili." August says, "Good afternoon, Glenn. Good afternoon to you." Really, really, he says, Scar, I see. Like this. Merv says, not forgetting the ghost lawyer for accused number one, Mr. Dominic Ngiago. Hey, that one, Tina Siamfuna. Siamfuna understand. Thank you, says, "Yini." Dan says Dominic Ngiago is an AI. I would not be surprised. Depo says defense should bring the dodgy lawyer to the stand to be cross-examined. I agree. I agree. But apparently, if he was indeed the lawyer that was representing accused number two, he cannot testify, cannot be called to testify. I think that's the reason why even Mngomezulu did not request the court that he be called. Or maybe he's going to be called at the later stage. I do not know. Mel says that anyone who has checked Mr. Dominic Jaco in South Africa, a lawyer's role, I did. He exists. And then I did a little bit more research. And at the time, if this is him, indeed, if this is him, he was not a lawyer. He was working for the city of Johannesburg. How is a person that works for, yes, he's a lawyer by profession, but he is not a practicing lawyer in court and representing clients. That is if that's him, the one that I found. Because it's also Dominic Coco something Giaco. If that's him, he's got a lot to answer. A lot. Because a life here is now on the line because of him, allegedly. Okay? Okay, I will stop right here for now. Let's get into Noni M podcast. Congratulations with the growth of your channel. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Well done. What's up? What's on your mind, colleague? Oh, you're unmute. No, I think it's your earphones. Okay, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. There's still the mic sign that is struck off. Yeah, now you're fine.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay, it's your earphones. Your earphones are blocking the sound. Okay, unmute yourself. Immediately after removing the earphones, you have to also unmute. There we go.
It's Baloyi, it's not me. I blame Baloyi. It's Rata and Baloyi, it can't be me.
Hey,
One
this
moment
week,
after the other, it's them. It's not
right?
me, guys. So
Let me tell you something. Mina gigwala ne, gigwala. So especially if there's a decision that needs to be made, I cannot stomach it. I run away. I want to hear later, or maybe somewhere in the news. But this time, because I knew Gutenege, there is no way Rata will go against the constitution. I sat through it.
I sat through it, Clantis, and I was like, me, no, I was like, he needs to do the right thing, right? However, it's Rata, we can't trust him. So I was like, already, if me, personally, I'm a person, if ever I know that things may not go my way, even if I'm right.
Yes.
I accept what's going to happen. I'm okay with
Yes.
whatever you come up with. It's fine. So I was there. I
Right.
didn't care what is the decision. Bottom line, he's gonna be exposed. That's what I was saying. I laughed. I was watching your other video the other day where you were like, you know what? His decision is going to be, and you were busy with the book of constitution. I'm like, when it comes to Rata, that book may not matter.
Hey, no need. By the end of this trial, they need to give us our LLB degrees. Gag.
I need my LLB degree, okay?
I also
I'm
need my
registering
LLB.
next year. No, I'm registering for next year. I promise you, I'm registered. I need
Yes.
to know these things. The
Oh
way
my
I have
goodness,
learned
that's what
and
I
I
was
have studied
thinking.
this year, there
I was
is
like,
no way I will not pass that degree.
on the other, me either. There is no way. A's,
There is no way.
A's.
Every other case law that I write it down and I go check
I
it
also
out.
do. I also do, and I go and I look it up. Oh, those cases are long, young. I
Guys,
just got to the
and
summary now.
I have a new respect for LLB students and for lawyers right now.
Big up to y'all.
Guys,
Big up to y'all.
Mngomezulu. Mngomezulu, ha, bulldozer, bulldozer, ubaba Mngomezulu wena. Because, guys, did you see, every, that day he was doing arguments, he was taking things out of his head. And then whatever he was quoting, he was not quoting a lot, but he did quote, but he was not quoting a lot. But there were no papers like the rest of them others. There was nothing like that. He was taking things out of the head. Guys, the guy is
the experience
a beast.
came out. The experience came out.
And the way he tames Ratata, yes, says.
Futhi doesn't do it in an obvious way. You know how a young person is to respect the elder, but if in a respectful way and takes the upper level, that's how he does it. And I'm like, that's smooth, sir. I'm learning from you.
And Rata gets it, ne? He gets it that I'm being told to footake.
Yeah, and especially what did you think about? Because I'm telling you, if it was Ramusipili or Mnisi referring to the witness as the witness, not magistrate, Rata would have jumped. I was like, you need to respect that she's a magistrate.
And then when he brought Mandela, I was like, okay.
Smoothly. That's smooth. I did not see, I would have not thought of that mean. I was like, smoothly. Like Nelson Mandela was the president of the Republic of South Africa. When he was on the stand, he was not the president, he was a witness. I'm like, you go, boy.
Did you see him? He was like, okay, I hear you.
And but the thing is, we must also understand what Mngomezulu was trying to also do. He was protecting the witness. She's a magistrate. If you understand, you continue to say magistrate, so magistrate Cronier, magistrate Cronier. This it does a dent on her career as a magistrate versus when you are saying witness. You understand? When you say witness, you are still saving her reputation as a magistrate. Because
But
if you
she
don't want
felt
to diminish, yes, you don't want to diminish your title by all these wrong things that are being exposed as a magistrate in an open court. So I thought that was so kind of Mngomezulu by saying you are a witness, not a magistrate. Understand?
But she did not take it that way. She felt some type of way about that one. Because
Kindly.
did you hear her voice after that? It started
Yeah.
pitching notes now as if she is singing Do Re Mi Fa So.
to a point where she demanded that Mngomezulu stop using hand gestures. Like, what on earth?
Did you see what he did when she said that after that?
Did you see that?
For me, it felt like he was saying, yeah, I got you. You are exactly where I need
Where
you
I
to
want
be.
you. I can imagine, in my mind, I'm thinking, maybe one of these days I should take a trip to Boksburg Magistrate where she's presiding. I want to watch her in action. I'm a very curious person, anyways. I want to see this lady because how do you come from your court, do whatever you needed to do,
right now they
and come
moved
and
with her,
tell
and they
people
are still
what to
going to
do.
move. I feel,
Yeah, I did not get that. I was like so
and
disrespectful.
I feel Mngomezulu is gonna come back, guys. Mngomezulu is gonna come back after everyone is done and finish her off. He
I think
stopped
so.
because he knew that others are going to take over. Did you see Baloyi's face when he initially assumed that no one is going to ask questions after Mngomezulu? Did you see him when Nisi
Yes,
was getting up and smiling?
he was getting excited. And then Nisi got up. I'm like, ooh, Nisi, what do you have in mind? And I'm telling you, this is where you're gonna see the judge in action. Probably the judge himself will be like, object. I mean, okay, let's look at it, and then you go back to 1928 and remind him about Rob versus Hapworth. Because at this point in time, this is the trigger to shut up. Like he once it goes like Rob, let's go back to Rob versus Hapworth. They're all just somewhat like limp and submit to the judge. I don't think that
Listen,
Mngomezulu is that. You'll be like, no,
listen,
sir.
do you know what else I like about Mngomezulu? Mngomezulu is very experienced.
Yeah,
It shows because
yeah,
when witnesses number one, they want to distract you when you are busy asking them questions, they will say, sorry, please repeat the question, and then your train of thought will move. And also Rata, when he is doing those not objections, when he is interfering, he was doing the same thing to the other lawyers when before Mngomezulu came through,
yes,
and they will lose their.
yes.
Do you remember? You also complained about Zitulele and Ramasipele, especially because they will forget what they wanted to say because he intentionally disturbed and disrupted them. And also, but this guy, whenever the judge was like, but what about, he'll be like, wait, I'm coming there, but right now we are still busy. I was like, you pause, Ale. No, 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 no. And he won't lose what
And
he want. He will say, wait, we are still dealing with
mm,
A, B, C, D, and this is where we are going, and move forward and not forget what he wanted to do. Did you see that
and
time
then
when he was asking,
uh,
what was he asking? Oh, where he showed the witness was it the performer, and then apparently it was not supposed to be seen by the judge, and then now he wanted to see blah blah blah, and then the judge was like, okay, and then he was like, okay, then I'm withdrawing my question. And the judge was like, then
yes,
the answer is what? No, 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 no. I'm withdrawing this portion. I was like, yes,
yes,
because if it was Ramza, he was going to say, yes, okay, I'm withdrawing. But this one, he
right,
was like, no,
right.
I am only withdrawing this portion, and that portion of a signature, I'm still maintaining that.
And then
Yo,
what's his name? Baloyi was like, if he is going to withdraw this portion, he needs to withdraw the entire. I'm like, ooh, try to go Ramasipele and what.
not
And then
on
I
this
like
one. Not
how,
on this one is
yeah,
experience.
Gomez was like, here is what we're leaving out of this, but I'm withdrawing this, the comparison document. That, but the question
Yes,
remains about the signature, and that she already gave the answer though. It was already
she did.
on record, and then he re-emphasized it because now Rata was trying. He was getting a little excited. Yeah, if you're withdrawing, you're also withdrawing that question. That let's correct something here. He still registered it
Do you think
on
when
record.
Atlantis, why am I getting a feeling that there are two things that I was thinking as this was happening, playing out this week.
Mm, mm.
Number one, Rata, did you see how pained he was to read his own judgment as if it was not written by him? Did you see the way he was going through those papers as if he did not number the papers to know this is number one, this is number two? He kept on, the way he was shaking. I've never seen Rata drinking water the way he did that day. The
Just also
way he
something
drank,
water.
I've never seen him drink water. His mouth was too dry for his own judgment. And it left me thinking, if Rata is going to be so pained and confused like this, just because he can see that this is, it's going to be unlawful to give a win for Baloyi, then he is like this pained. Is he the kind of judge that if they say Clantis is a thief, he's like, okay, he's a thief, and then he moves with that? Is he that kind of a judge? Because
Mm,
now that, for
he
me,
shouldn't
that
be.
felt like this man is not neutral. He takes what he
Yeah.
is being told that so and so did this crime. So I felt like he's not a neutral person if he's like that. And also,
Right.
if you saw how painful even his face, his demeanor was, because he had to give that judgment. I understand that it can be very hard to give judgments, but if for this little matter, that's how he is, how much more when he is going to need to say, when there is nothing that points to these guys, he is going to need to say they are not guilty. Well, how is he going to give that verdict if he was like this over this little matter? I could not understand. He left me with so many questions, Nashem.
And another question that I was asking myself about him was about the recording. Why does he want to hear the recording when he's being protected from hearing the recording? Because I believe if he was given the opportunity to hear the recording, he would have totally disregarded the judgment he gave yesterday.
Do you think he doesn't know the recording? If you listen,
no, he does.
He knows what's in that recording, because the other day, wapunyukelwa the other day.
I also heard.
Wapunyukelwa the other day, and then
I was asking I said, how do you know? How do you know?
Wapunyukelwa the other day. Seriously.
I know. I heard. Mm-hmm. And then another thing as well. The ambush on Monday. Was it Monday or Tuesday?
It was Tuesday.
Judge Rata on Monday makes a ruling. Will recall Mboto and Munareng. Jiggy. The following day, I don't know what they did. I don't know. I think they listened to the tape and realized we got something here. We got them. But they underestimated Mngomezulu. And so to suppress Mngomezulu is to come back and use his powers as a judge to change his mind, because apparently judges, they can change their own rulings.
Apparently. Hey, what's up, you guys?
Hey, what's up, Dan? So he can change his own decision. And I was like, oh, you thought you were going to get what's his name? Mngomezulu. And Mngomezulu registered in that court. In fact, he wanted to say this court is chaotic because of the judge. You allow ambushes, you make a ruling, you come back the point, and now you expect us to do 1, 2, and 3. It's not going to happen. And of course, he needed time to go and check the cross-examination of Steve Ramusipili, so he does not ask the same question. And the judge makes a decision based on a case law, not on the law. And then when Steve Ramusipili gets up with the law, they say, actually, you can still recall a witness. And then he makes his ruling. I threw my hands in the air at this point. But at the same time, I realized later, as Mngomezulu was taking on especially Cronier, that, okay, I see why you abandoned it. Yeah. What's up, Dan?
What's going on, Clantis? I'm just catching on to what you guys are saying. Yeah, the judge was so reluctant to read his own ruling, and he was just so jittery. He wasn't so confident. He wasn't his normal self. And like, part of me make me feel, because he was so reluctant, because he's taking away Baloyi's like last like hard line of so-called anything against what he wants to put on this accused, because there's nothing else, and he kind of knows that. And those things that the judge thinks only he's clever enough to know, when Mngomezulu takes us through, his wisdom, you can see the judge kind of smile, because he feels like he's touching on things that he didn't anticipate, the attorney to touch. I mean, the advocate to touch on. You see, but wow, you can see the pain on his face.
To watch and interesting at the same time, but hilarious.
Hilarious. I was hurting for him, but it was good. Wow.
He had chest pains, guys.
Especially yesterday. Yesterday, he exposed the judge so much. I have never heard a pin drop on his side.
Right. I think the judge is entertained. I think he's interested. He's fascinated by what you know what I'm saying? Because he can't jump in, because he's going to get dealt with. Have you noticed at least twice when he tried to interject? He tried to interject as much as possible, right? But at least twice, I've noticed that when he cuts in and says, sorry, and whatever, and Mngomezulu, he talks him right. He does something where he talks him right through to explain himself. And then he kind of still goes to the point where it leads up to the witness to continue. So
Exactly.
he'll cut he'll let the
And for
judge
you
cut
to
him
use
off.
the word "I'm sorry," to me,
Right.
I almost fell off my chair. I'm like, Rata, you are capable of saying sorry.
Right. But the judge is always giving it to Mngomezulu because he's not crossing any he doesn't infringe when
Hmm.
when he does his job and does his work. Yeah, but
Right.
he takes it away from the interruption, and then it just leads into, oh, I'm getting there, and it's going into the witness. The witness must continue. The witness goes right into so he talks him right through his interjection. He's very smart.
Right. Let me ask you guys this question. Here you are a magistrate, and then you are told via the phone that you have somebody that's coming to confess. And then as you go to the room that you are allocated, you see armed officers. You see armed officers. What's the first thing that's going to come to your mind? Because I can tell you, me, I'm terrified of guns, big or small. I'm intimidated already. So
Um,
now,
I
now
mean,
who exactly were they intimidating between the suspect
right.
and the magistrate? I'll say both.
Both.
They were reminding her that remember, we know where you live.
And also for me, it felt like not only were they intimidating both, but it felt like they wanted her to think that this is a dangerous person that we are bringing. You need to
But
listen
then
to what he has to
again,
say.
but the thing is, when you are coming to give confession, you are not a suspect, apparently, from what I heard. You're not a suspect. That is why she said in cross examination that the reason why something that she said she looked at him as an ordinary person. But then the question
Yes,
was an ordinary person in handcuffs, because only a suspect is in handcuffs. Why would you
Right.
just look at him as an ordinary person? An ordinary
Yeah,
person doesn't. That is apparently that is why when you come in to confess, it's like anybody. You yourself, if you saw a crime being committed or you committed a crime and then you developed some kind of consciousness, you walk into a police station without handcuffs and say, "I'm here to confess regarding a crime that I've done against whoever, or maybe I murdered somebody." You are
right.
not in handcuffs, and then
These
you
are
are
supposed to
taken
be
to that room.
red flags for a magistrate. Correct.
Red flags for magistrate.
Right.
Absolutely. So that is why I still believe that she was dropping nuggets. Like, guys, I cannot say with my
No,
own
and Mngomezulu was picking her apart. He was picking apart her like things that were being flouted one by one, like the fact that he was arrested one date and it was more than 48 hours before he was in
yeah. And then she was
appeared
talking
before.
about she
Yeah.
talked about what if it was in her court somebody who has not been charged within 48 hours. I think she spoke about section 342
Right.
subsection or subsection 1 or something like that, that you would first have an inquiry. And in my mind I'm like, a magistrate, listen to the question. The
Right.
man
and
was
listen to
arrested on
yourself.
the 16th of June.
She
He's
has it the
brought to
other way
you 8
around.
cases. What inquiry are you going to be holding? Because I think the condemnation should be on the 49th hour. Maybe there was a storm or an earthquake that
Yeah.
delayed those sort of things in order for you to come to a conclusion. 8 days later, you are supposed to strike the matter of the court roll. Period.
And we all watch trials. We all watch cases in TV and stuff like that. Which magistrates do you know has someone appearing before them and you don't know when they were arrested? You get their information, their docket, or whatever is
Bro,
about their case in front of you. So who doesn't know
bro.
when you're supposed to know these things? So that's a lie. And
Besides
then
even going in, besides that, before you even get into the crux of the matter, you
hmm,
ask these questions. When were you arrested? Because I see you're in handcuffs. He tells you, okay, have you seen the court? And he tells you, and of course he's gonna say no, 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 no. In fact, from the first question, when you hear a no, you're not supposed to proceed. Why did she proceed? Not as a
right,
magistrate. Why did you proceed?
right,
And also, she mentioned that she got a call from Madame Duplessis, who said they, all of them there in Boxback, they couldn't do it because they are involved in the matter. What matter?
How are they involved
How
in
are
the
they
matter? That's
involved?
a good question. Because I don't remember, number one,
A
accused
lot
number
is
two was
happening,
arrested
guys,
in
behind the
Northwest.
scenes. She says,
Yeah. Accused number two was arrested in Northwest. Why would the Boksburg region or division know anything or be involved in this matter? Because if he's arrested in Rustenburg, the jurisdiction is supposed to
Right,
be there, and then he gets extradited to Boksburg, what do you call this, magistrate's court. How are
yeah.
they involved?
See, I'm not sharp on, your local geography there, but I do know one thing about jurisdiction. That in itself usually knocks cases out when it's
Yep,
in, you know what I mean? There's just so
yep.
much that could be picked apart. It just goes to show
mm,
that these people are players. They're just players in their part. Like this representation, what's his name, Dominic, he was just there to validate the state side, even though his role is to be for the accused. It's just, it's
Yeah.
just formalities.
From what I found out about Dominic, he is an attorney by profession, but in June
mm,
2020, he
yes.
was not a legal practitioner.
He
He
has
was
roots in
working.
politics, doesn't he?
He was working for the
Something like.
city of Johannesburg.
Oh,
So how
so
in this is if this is the correct Dominique? Just
so
told you, yeah, this is if this is the correct Dominique, but that's the only one that I could see when I was doing my research on this
right. I heard you going through
individual.
that earlier, and because I'm not there, right? But if you could look at his work history, and if you could kind of pin it all on one side or group them all together, who would you say he would be affiliated with politically, honestly? Like, who do you think that trail would kind of go to? You know what I'm saying? Like a minister, a local leader, or something like that, or somebody. I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm not trying to start a conspiracy here, but I'm saying, but these people are just players. They're
Right,
recognized for the work that they do, and they're placed
right.
where people need them.
I don't know about
I think
that. I don't know about that. But what I do remember is that article that was on Sunday or on Times Live, something like that, whereby I think he he said something about Ria Pierre. Do you remember the back then commissioner of police that was fired? Do you remember Ria
oh
Pierre?
yeah,
And then at
yeah,
the bottom of that article, where he was first a hero because of that, whatever he said about her, then at the bottom, that journalist mentions that he is a troubled young man who also has his own cases whereby money from this, money from that. There was some. I'm gonna look for that before we go, and then I will
yeah.
read that article, what it says about him and the things that he did, that he was arrested for. And then also, when you look at his LinkedIn, if this is the Mjiago that we are talking about, he worked as a legal advisor for government, SEPS
Yes, yes.
division, crime
That's the same one you and
intelligence,
I.
Right.
and then commercial crime desk. So if
Yes,
this guy is in that level, how did Ntanzi get to know him? How did Ntanzi
exactly,
pay this guy? If
exactly,
he says that he was paid, there is a letter. We need a letter of appointment, and we need proof of payment from the one that Ntanzi paid him with. We need those
exactly,
two things because
exactly.
at that time, especially Ntanzi does not look like someone who knew who he was. He's higher up for Ntanzi.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah,
undermining Ntanzi, but I'm saying for
Right.
him to, when he says he doesn't know him, I believe him because crime intelligence. Wow,
Right.
how does it mean?
what
And
does this
also,
got to do? Yeah,
yes, and also Ntanzi has been working in the mines for all these years, 9 years. So is there Ngabi that works full time?
and they decide killing people.
Yeah.
Is there Ngabi that works full time? Number one.
Never.
And also, is there Ngabi that will go and fetch a cell phone in somebody's house, and the cell phone
No.
that later on we see on pictures, that means that it was never taken? What is this? So there's a
Yeah,
lot of things that are going on there.
Right.
yeah.
There
From
was
And
my
now
own
there
for
point.
a
is a video.
magistrate, for a
There is a
magistrate,
video of Sifiso Meyi was saying that initially, in 2019, I think there was in 2019 there was two teams when Begitale came in as the Minister of Police. Initially, he was with them, and then he says there was a shift somewhere when now he was like, no, Bekitale and us are no longer working together because I could hear the things that he was saying. Then when they were still in one working together when it comes to this, there were two teams, the Gininda team and the Butelezi and Mashop,
Makubo.
Makubo's team. So there were those two teams, and the team of Buteles and Makubo is the one that opened 375 and is the one that had the confession from one of the people that says what happened, and it's the confession that was stolen by Nkininda. That's why he said he stole a statement, right? So when you are listening to that, you can hear that something shifted somewhere when it comes to Minister Cele, but he did not say exactly what it is in that video. So there is something going on here. Now, that is why the viewers are like, we know for a fact that Kelly Khumalo did not shoot Senzo, did not organize no heat, did not do anything. We're not saying anything else. She is not innocent. They are saying the case that she must answer is the case of what happened that day. Other than her
as a witness.
No, they are not for that. They are not. So I think that there is something. Londo, guys, the person that is, if for instance, if for really there is a cover up that is happening for someone who was in the house, the man should be rich or the woman. If that person is rich, it's been years now. They've been paying, guys. They've been paying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
and
true.
Also, Kininda does not remember what happened to Jakey Celebi. Jakey Celebi thought he was a big boss.
Yeah.
When
He ended up in jail. He ended up in jail. It's so incredible for a magistrate not to pay attention to crucial information that she's being told by the suspect at the time. What she says is just an ordinary human being who was wearing bangles.
How can handcuffs become bangles? Kanjani?
He said the way they look so beautiful, they looked as if a lady wearing bangles.
So you know what she was trying to do? She was trying to discredit the claim that his cuffs were too tight and left bruises. Anything that would lead to mistreatment or something like that. She was trying to lay her emphasis against like another, like one word versus another. You know, understand? That's how I see it, because it's pointless to say that. It's almost insulting, you know. But yeah.
Self-appointed expert lol.
I knew you guys would laugh. I knew it. I knew it.
You know how to press my buttons, right?
Oh gosh. I actually have to agree with what sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Yeah.
Okay, call me
the guy that you spoke now.
There's Noni and Dan.
Or Dan. This fine.
Dan.
Yes.
I have to agree with what you're saying. Even though it's two different suspects, like how the first one, his handcuffs are really tight, they were noticeable, and all those different details. I feel like she mentioned that specifically just to say, in general, we do not treat, you know, our suspects in that way, you know, in comparison to the first suspect. I think she nailed that. And also it does kind of show that these witnesses, they watch the case, even though they're not allowed to be watching it, but they watch it. She had every reason to mention that, especially because now every other angle is sort of like painting her as this, you know, person who contributed to when Ntanzi is today. You know, so on her side, I tried to make him feel comfortable. His handcuffs were loose. You know, I told him that he can trust me. Like, imagine telling me, go see you're a magistrate and you're not part of what I'm not trusting anyone at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm
telling me that
if
anything, right? Telling me if anything goes wrong. What, there's a word that she used. If anything goes wrong, she's gonna put measures so that he's protected. It's like, even if I don't know those measures, like how am I supposed to know that, okay, when this is done, this is when I should ask for protection? It's like the fact that she deliberately not, it's like me saying, oh, Clantis, I'm going to protect you, you know, and then you're going to be like, okay, but like the question is from what? Like, if I don't know what you're protecting me from, how am I supposed to?
I'm terrified already. Like, what do you know? What do you know? What do you know?
Right.
You know what? I think a lot of people, I even seen on the news, they were kind of lost with the point that Mngomezulu was trying to go with mentioning what's the problem with saying you're a magistrate. I think for a second, I think he was trying to prove a point that he never got to conclude. He was trying to say that for you to mention you're a magistrate and induces something. So in other words, it it's
This
known
is
in
the
your
subject.
mind now. But since it's not known in his mind what any irregularities would mean, it has no power. Therefore, there's no interpretation for him in his mind. So if he knows that she's a magistrate, he can think either safety or trust or whatever. But when it's not said that she's a magistrate, there's no subsequent thoughts. So therefore, I think he didn't get to conclude that. What his point being, if it's not said what his rights are or what those irregularities might be, how could he
Right.
go about approaching that? Do you understand? But I think there was too many questions around him explaining himself and her calling herself a magistrate and whatnot. I don't know if you guys follow, but I kind of took. There's no other way I could take it, but even SABC they couldn't really put their finger on it.
Yeah, yeah. The question now, I also am wondering, why did she lie about her own evidence in chief that she submitted regarding the people that she was within room two and the two officers that were outside? Did I hear incorrectly?
Yeah,
I mean,
Bongani Ntanzi claims the people were inside, all three of them, the two police officers and Mokgane was inside. That's what Ntanzi
Right.
says. That was
But then
the
that's what also
instruction.
she said in the evidence in chief. But she
She
denied it
said they
yesterday.
went out.
She denied it yesterday. She says he's
Mm.
absolutely lying. And I'm like, but that was in your evidence in chief. Remember when I said if I was a defense attorney, these are the questions that I was going to ask regarding either intimidation for the suspect. You have yourself, you have an interpreter, you have the lawyer, and then you have a police officer and two police officers that are standing outside. Wouldn't that be tantamount to intimidation of some sort? That's what because I took that. My question comes from what she said in the evidence in chief.
Did you
see, this
hear
is
her
what
saying that he was sitting behind him? The lawyer was sitting behind Ntanzi. Why was the lawyer not sitting next to Ntanzi, but behind? What is he do?
Exactly.
What was he doing behind him? What if
And
there
then
was
who's
a
the
gun?
fifth person?
I
Who
don't
is the
trust.
fifth? There were five people, she says. Who was the fifth one?
right. So her omitting all of
She
these
said
people.
it.
This is
She said it. They need to get to the court hindsight and then listen to that portion. She said it.
right. She's minimalizing a situation that can be perceived as a threatening or a forced situation.
Right.
You know,
Right.
by no longer acknowledging how many people were there and whatnot is just trying to take away from the claim of the accuser number two.
Right. Yeah,
You know
I
what
think
else
so. She,
Danzi needs to do when Danzi wins this and is out there, he must first deal with the state. They must give him his millions and then come personally for this woman because
mm.
he would have been saved if she did her job well.
No, that's
Not
true.
only
This
her, not
woman,
only her, the
That's
HR
no,
yes,
that's
software
very
is
true.
hurt as
That's
well.
very true. She could
that
have
HR,
exonerated.
yes, they also
Yeah, because
yes,
the HR
yes.
is the reason
He
why
needs
he was denied bail.
Mm.
he needs to
Now you
come
can't
for the
come and say,
police minister and comes for everyone. That was the reason that he is in there.
yeah, and them GRs
Guys, the
especially.
other thing I was thinking about loudly in my head was this. Abanginida, aren't they scared of Ingabi, guys?
If they're
Hey,
in, okay, I'm just gonna say, not like if they are. Supposedly, if they're Inkabis themselves, why would they be scared of Inkab? And maybe they are the syndicates or the
okay.
bosses of them.
Because I've been asking myself this question, Yokuti. Why are they shokolosing? They are always shokolosing. Why would you come for Inga? Like your answer gives it for me because if I am Ingab, I will not be scared of another Ingab.
Not
But
in,
now, why are they not scared of hitmen? Most those people are supposed to be hitmen.
yeah,
Number five for me is the most
especially number
dangerous.
five.
Number five, do you remember that video where he says, "You see these ones, all of them, they are here because of me, they're Lord, and I swear in my mother's name, December won't come when they." It was for another case, that one. And
Mm,
number five is the one that killed his own cousin, isn't he? In a
yeah,
stadium
apparently,
full of people. Ah, ah,
apparently.
ah. And you are not scared. And that's why I always say, historical Zunga, I will never believe it because number 5 is dangerous. Number 5 would come for. There is no one from number 5's family who would come and say, I'm gonna shoot you. It would be a bullet straight to his head. Why he is also that's why
without warning. Without warning.
Number 5 is dangerous. I don't understand why are people playing it that because the way he did for Susan, it's him, it's his nature. You can see that it's him, it's his nature. He's
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, basically, Dan, what she's saying is, Inkabi, you know what Inkabi now, right?
Yes, thank you.
Like, it's in his nature that when he is being challenged in the manner that he is, that he will show you a gun sign that I will.
Right. No, I get.
To anybody that is testifying against him. Because remember, he did make some threats when Zungu took the stand. And then this so-called judge even said the same thing happened to Buthelezi. We didn't see that either.
Right.
It happened. Guys, it happened actually to Buthelezi. The judge is right, but the judge did not say who. It was those guys when Buthelezi was turning against them. It was those guys, those many police who were sitting there. It was not the accused. He's right.
Oh, really?
It did happen. It did, but he did not tell everyone now that I saw when Buthelezi was giving his evidence, this situation happened. It was not them they accused. He's lying on that one. It was those police officers. I'll look for that video. I do have a clip of that.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think, and people commented on YouTube and say, "Hi, but this policeman, doesn't he see that he is on TV?"
I didn't see that.
It happened. It was not the accused. It was those guys. And then people were like, "Hi, but they were sent by Kinida this way. What's this now?"
But you see, guys, at the end of the day, for me, I'm just gonna let you guys can come in as well with your own opinion. For me, after the tape was inadmissible, it crumbled the entire trial within a trial for me. Because what is there, especially with accused number 2, that is why in the title of my video yesterday is like, he walked free. Because I believe he is going to walk free. He'll be the first one to be acquitted, followed by number 1. That's just my thinking. I don't know. Again, my thinking is not sophisticated like a lawyer. Again. Sorry?
They're going to attack you for your video titles again because you said, Ntanzi walked free. False information.
They tried.
I honestly feel the same way. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there's so many, especially with accused number 2, they've tried to pin him so many times with and without evidence, and at this point, it's so clear that there's nothing really on him, and it's from the start. That's my problem. I'm trying to think at how did they actually link him to Senzo's case? Because my understanding from his friend's testimony was that he was arrested because they searched a home that he apparently shared with other people, somewhere along those lines. And they searched the home. No one was there, but they searched it, and then they found ammunition. I'm not sure at what point did they arrest Ntanzi, but apparently he's arrested at that given point. But then there's also this something, Yana, that says Ntanzi was called and asked about Senzo's case. And I'm thinking, where was he called? Because wasn't he arrested? Like, I'm trying to think in terms of timeline, where does Ntanzi's whole thing fit in with Senzo's case and this ammunition thing? But besides that, searching someone's home without them there is violation, because even accused number 3, he was searched, but he was there. He saw what the police found. You know what I'm saying? But he was not there. He's arrested, like everything. And the fact that when the magistrate is actually the one taking down things, like hearing that Ntanzi saying, "Listen here, my lady, I don't know what's going on." And guys, like, the fact that he said that and she continued writing, I can't. I haven't showered for 8 days. Okay, continue writing this testimony. I've been here for 8 days. Continue writing the testimony. It's like, girl, come on now. You know what I'm saying?
You wanted to put your magistrate robe on.
Do you know what I think happened? Do you know what I think happened when a self-appointed expert? I think the first person they arrested Moses, I choose number one. I think he said in his statement, but guys, now I was in KZN with Bongani Ntanzi, and it was Bongani Ntanzi's wedding. They were like, we are going to fetch him.
Okay.
That's where they got his number. That's why they called him. That's why they got his number from I choose one's phone. And I'm sure you know I choose one. He was using these little phones because his is not downloaded. Was it? I think he had this phone and he said, you can call Bongani. I was with Bongani and I was at his wedding or something. I think he said something along those lines. Hence now. And then when there was a list of them, and then they were like, oh, then who's gonna I choose one, and then there's Bongani. And then do you know what else I think happened? I think they saw the video that I was referring to of I choose number 5. And then they started to link those people together, and then they got to number 4. They saw Chin, they know each other, they are from the same village. That's what makes the 5. That's how it came for Zulu with his crimes that they know, and they like, you are from this village, when you are from this town, you know these people. He was like, I don't really know them. That's when he had to make sure that there is a story that will happen. Hence now there is a Gwabini name, the Gwabini that might not even exist. I don't know.
That is very, very
that's
sad.
What I think is that it's either that or whichever clever person tried to pick the parts to make this whole story come together. I think they started with the hostel. I think it's a possibility, whether it's true in the slightest or just completely untrue. I think there was a point where at least 4 of them must have been at some point together at one point, whether they knew each other or not, at the hostel. And I think they found a guy such as Zungu to kind of insert himself there. That's why he puts himself in a photo, which is clearly not even him, according to the accused, but he insists that it's him anyway. I think that's their best kind of trying to put all 5 of them together, whether Ntanzi was actually there or not. I think they need a statement to verify if he was ever there with all of those people. And if he was, fine. There's no, like people say, it's no crime to be at a hostel or whatnot, you know? But I think they're trying to build it off of Zungu's clearly breakable testimony. But
but it's all crumbled down, like what Clantis is saying. Like at this point I think Ntanzi really needs to be released, you know. And what I understood from the little bit of law that I know is that if you're someone that hasn't committed a crime before, there's certain advantages that you get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
mitigation. Yeah,
and I feel like Ntanzi has been treated like a hardcore criminal, you know, don't move anywhere, no bail, no nothing, you know what I'm saying? And it's just so sad because if you look back, he's so young. Like he is so young, and for him to go through all of this,
he is.
Yeah.
Can you imagine they're trying to say that his beard grew a certain way several years back, and he's so young, like he's just actually getting his facial hair. They're so desperate.
Also a good point.
Madness. Like
absolute madness.
Insane.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Zandi
But
even
for me,
aside.
but for me, I think from what we've watched thus far, in the trial within a trial, it exonerates accused number 2 on the main trial. If you go to the main trial, accused number 3, whom they also spent a lot of time on him, the DNA says sorry, he was not there.
Yeah.
So 2 people for me chopped down. You remain with 3. I think number 1 as well gone. Then we have to go to accused number wait. Accused number 4.
Mapisa, guys, at this point, that guy is just chilling there. Like he's just chilling there. Nothing has been said about him. All he does is laugh at the accused 5. All they do is laugh at people.
Every time I see the camera pan on him, I cannot.
Isn't that why, guys? He is always laughing. He is always laughing. He's not bothered. Maybe that guy says, "Now I'm happy just for getting out and coming here every day. Now I'm happy."
Right?
I think that's because
there's nothing.
He's not worried about anything.
Nothing.
He is.
Did you
He's
see
always
the time when the
laughing.
judge was being petty? I don't know what had happened. The judge got petty about his glasses, and yet he was wearing the glasses yesterday.
Right?
And he started laughing after that conversation.
I was like, wow, look at this guy.
Be quite an emotional one, considering the fact that, you know, Senzo actually passed away in this particular
Mhm.
time. And I think it'll be the first time since his passing that some form of legal,
Yeah.
process is undergoing. And I just, wish all the best for the family, man, and just kind of
Yeah.
hope that, because this week is going to be a bit different. Like, imagine on the 26th, I'm thinking that's a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Yeah, let's just assume that courts will be as normal. Like, imagine the emotions that are going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually going to be quite tense.
Yeah, it will be.
On that
It will
day.
be. It will be.
Yeah.
It would be nice if you can hold like some kind of a memorial 10th year anniversary. Am I saying it correctly when I say anniversary? Because it sounds like there's a celebration anniversary.
It is
A
like an
celebration of his life and his victories and all
It's
of
the
that.
9th year, I think.
Is the 9th year?
Next year is the 10th, yeah. Because it was
Yeah.
2014, right?
24. Oh yeah. Why do I keep saying 10? Me and my man.
No, but it's been that long. So.
Why do I think it's 30?
Why do you
I
think?
don't. What were you thinking?
No, I didn't hear Noni.
Yeah, I also didn't hear her.
No, I also thought that it was 10 years this year for some weird reason.
Yeah, I also thought so. I kept pressing on the 10th. So this year is going to be the 10th year and only to be the 9th.
No, we need to get
I've been
justice this
busy
year.
saying
And I've
that.
seen a post circulating on Facebook. You know how the internet doesn't forget.
Yeah.
So there's a post that Zandi had a statement actually, Miss Public Figure, that she had released when she had a fight with her sister, if anyone remembers that. So Zandi had a fight with her sister in 2020. Yeah, basically the whole fight was about it was something about to do with music and how her husband was using Kelly's name to advertise the thing, and Kelly was like, no, I'm not associated with that, you know what I'm saying? And the fight was basically about whatever business that they do as music people. So anyways, it got deep. Oh, sorry. You guys know Zandi, she's a very emotional person. She just posts. When she's in emotion, she just posts. So I think it was just one of them ones. And she released a statement, a very long one, on the matter, but then it started talking about unrelated stuff, it's towards the end. And then towards the end she says, the first and last time I went to jail was because of her, referring to her sister. The first time I was questioned by police and even put on a lie detector test was because of her. The first time I saw drugs with my own eyes was from her. Today I am known as an accessory to murder, and it's because of her. I've endured so much abuse and nonsense from her, but I kept quiet because that is the type of person that I am. So she posted this 2020 February, around those times. Yeah. And then they reconciled coincidentally when the trial was about to, start. And it was a very hectic feud, because even Kelly, when she was interviewed on TV, she'd be like, I don't want to talk about people that don't matter in my life. And it was really bad. And I was surprised how instantly they got back together, you know what I'm saying? And looking back at all those things, you kind of think what do you mean? How do you blame your sister for something that you saw her being a victim of? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's quite a serious allegation. I can't imagine you guys seeing me being beat up, and then you guys are, and then I don't know, one of you guys say, today I get beat up maybe, and something really bad happens to me, and then now you guys are fighting amongst each other, and then Noni says, oh, you see, now I'm known as someone that beat up self-appointed expert, and it's what do you mean?
No, when you get people mad enough, secrets come out, especially with family.
Yeah, it's like what I'm saying as well about a lawsuit. Who wants to be sued knowing who actually killed Senzo Mewa?
Right.
That's why I feel like the Mewas, they need to take the civil route and sue. Yeah. Somebody's going to speak and say, no, I'm not spending a cent.
Do you know what else I'm thinking?
What?
Go ahead.
Do you know what I'm thinking when I self-appointed to that matter of Zandi? That husband, you will see Mhlaba the day they fight and Zandi and things are bad, because that Zandi with a big mouth, I want to believe she told him what happened, the real truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
The day they fight, we will hear
tell
the
somebody.
situation.
But the
That's
thing
What
is,
happened
Peter.
there to Senzo?
but the thing is, he will not be able to testify against his wife, though, according to the law.
No, I mean, even
He's
if
been
he
informed.
doesn't need to testify, but the truth we will know once they fight.
Mm,
Zandi is
mm.
rude, guys.
She
There's
can't
nothing
control
that
her
can change that.
emotions.
She's a rude person.
Yeah,
Yes, and
Ushava
also
in Zulu says.
at that time, I was standing with Kelly in this sense. Yoguti, as you are saying, self-appointed, that those things were not related. Kelly was not
Hmm.
wrong. She got calls of coming to perform, and she's like, "Wait, what are you on about? My
That's her
manager is so
reputation
and
on the
so."
line.
So yes, so she was not wrong, and then she needed to make a statement because people thought that she was not coming to their shows, and she had no idea what they were talking about. So she was not
Mm,
wrong, and Zandi chose a man over Kelly. So she did not want to accept that she was wrong. Now she put all of those details because she was threatening Kelly to say that I will tell this country what happened
Listen
to
here.
Senzo. That's how I understood what she was doing. That statement
Yep.
was her saying that I will tell this country what happened to Senzo if you don't stop what you
mm,
are doing. And that husband of
mm,
hers, I believe he knows something about that situation.
mm,
But okay,
mm.
we're not there.
We move.
And what's
Anyways,
We
interesting,
move.
guys, uh,
no, I was gonna say what's
We are
interesting is that
alleging. We don't want to be sued. We are
yeah, it's
alleging
all
yeah,
that one
allegations.
day
Yeah,
when they fight,
yeah.
yeah. You were saying then?
No, I was just saying Kelly's not being represented by that I forget her name now
When Sammy.
anymore. Yeah, she was pretty interesting too. Like,
she
you
down
know,
here next long time.
uh, no, I think she had she had to take work elsewhere that she couldn't that wouldn't allow her to represent Kelly
Mm,
anymore or something like that. She's doing
mm,
Just
something
to
in
add on that,
mm,
two things that Munsami has actually said as someone who was representing Kelly at the time, that I feel as if, because Kelly does claim in majority of her interviews that she saw Senzo being shot at. That's why I feel like she was one of the most important people. Actually, even if she was the only one that came there to speak, it would have made sense because we want to know the killer. And since she saw
yeah,
it happen, she's more,
yeah.
credible or valuable as a witness. Anyways, so her lawyer in two interviews,
Oh, it's
she said that
Kenneth.
Kelly does not know who these suspects are. She doesn't know them. And she's never even ID'd them before. And I remember, I think it was, I think her name is Crisalda. She was like, then whose suspects are they? And she
Mm,
just kept quiet, the lawyer just kept quiet. But she said it before that her client does not know who these people are. And in many other interviews, Kelly has been adamant that I know this person. I feel this
mm,
person in my spirit, she even says, so she's
mm,
confident, also she knows this person. So how is it that the one witness that actually saw the shooter, is saying this is not the shooter, and these people are still going on trial?
right.
How?
You know
And
what
then
we
you have
need?
the same people pointing at Ntanzi, crying and saying, "Do you know what you guys have done to my family?" You know what I'm saying? It's like it's very how is one person seeing and then the other person is not seeing? But how is it all happening? But
Mm,
anyways,
mm,
yeah.
yeah. You know what we need? We need phone records of that night from everybody. From that, everybody. Stay needs to come back and link some phone calls and phone numbers and all of that.
And
Who
dive
called
deeper
who
into it.
exactly? And then you will see the exoneration of the five people. Why are they
Yeah.
avoiding that line? That's what I
Right.
want to know. Anyways, guys,
And
let
that
me go
thing
to
that
the. Mhm, go on.
and that thing
Allegedly,
that
allegedly,
Khumalo.
guys. Allegedly, guys, the towers that he was referring to, that those are the ones that were connecting the whole report that he was giving about the phone calls between Kelly and the accused five, etc., etc. Apparently, the towers allegedly they were not even there at the time. They were
Yep.
built in 2016. Let me drink my drink.
Yep. Sip, 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 sip. I was saying that that one thing that
Allegedly.
Khumalo said. I heard you guys speak about how oh no, I don't think it was you guys. I think it was somewhere else. But when Khumalo said when he saw that phone, he saw there was an X3 and a what and an X4, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
Samsung
yeah.
S, and
It
he
was
was like,
S4
but
because
the phone that
S3
was,
because I also had it.
yes, there was an S3, so that's Tumelo's phone, right? And
Yes,
then Kelly's phone was the S4.
yes,
Yeah. So Khumalo said that, the phone that was charging there when Musia came back the next day to take photos, I'm assuming, I don't know if it was the next day or the same night, it was whose phone was there charging, because for what it looks like it was, an S4. And then that was quickly disputed. But when I was thinking, I'm like, no, 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 let him cook, like he's cooking, because Tumelo said as soon as they got back from the hospital, their phones were
mm,
taken, right?
yes,
Meaning
yes.
that by the time Messiah came, no one had their phones on them, right?
Yep,
So what this photo that he had this phone that he had a photo of, whose phone is it? Because
exactly.
all your phones are taken away. So
Apparently, that phone belongs to Miss KK.
right? So I,
And they
I don't know.
omitted that. They lied on the stand. They lied.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So it's just those things. I don't know why Khumalo didn't press on that one, because I would have pressed. Yes, fine, the phones look a bit similar, but I feel like you can tell the difference from size to certain things, like this is
mhm.
an S4, this is an S, you know what I'm saying? And I think, but the fact that their phones are taken away, it's either Tumelo is lying and the police are lying that their phones are actually taken away and they still had access to them, or Messiah took a photo of the same phone that was stolen. It's one of two things. There's no in between.
Yeah, yeah. And Musia tried to defeat the ends of justice in an open
Aye,
court
Shane.
under oath. He says
He
eight
even said
photos
in an
can be two
interview,
plates.
in a TV interview, a news TV interview, he's like, "Hi, this whole case is just weird. Even the time that I don't know if you guys saw that interview thing. I will send a link. I will send a
Okay.
link. I will send a link, and he was like, "Just the whole thing is confusing. Hey, 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 what's yum yum yum." I'm like,
I
Mosia,
saw
did you
that
not know all
video.
of this is gonna come back to you? Hebe tuna. I'm gonna look for that interview. He was talking. I think it was E News, I think, or ENCA, but Nje, it was a news don't thing.
Yes.
It was like
Yeah.
everything is just weird, and I'm like, okay.
Wow. Oh, guys, we
Anyways,
could
guys,
talk about this till the sun comes out. Let me go back to the live chat, guys. Thank you so much for participating. I highly appreciate you, self-appointed experts, and as well as Dan and also Noni and Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. Congrats again, Noni, with your channel. It's actually blowing up. I think it's safe to say it's blowing up.
I'm subscribed, so yeah.
You subscribe, that's great. Thank
Yeah.
you for doing
Thank
that.
you.
Bye, guys.
Take
Yeah,
care,
bye
everyone.
guys. Thank you all
Be
so much
safe.
for
Bye,
being here. I
guys.
appreciate you. Yeah.
Have a good week.
So let's go back to the comments. Where were we? Where would Google Pretty, who said Dominic was a ghost because magistrate, she didn't ask the certificate or anything to show Uguti Uyini. She failed to ask Njako. That is very true. Like how as a magistrate and you are sitting with people in a room regarding somebody's life and you do not ask the relevant questions. What on earth is that about? Ooh, Isaiah Patedi, thank you so much for the super sticker. Let's pin it there. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you. And then last time I did not go through the live chats, and yet there were actually super stickers that were purchased. And now I'm just going down so that I don't make that mistake again. Guys, you are amazing people. I appreciate you all so much for this. So I'm going to start from the bottom going up, and then we are going to close this live. And then you guys, thank you so much. We had 210 people at some stage. This has never happened on my channel before. It's always like 188, 100. Now it kind of like doubled. That was awesome. Thank you guys for that. Let's go to Lash. Lash says the price tag has no raise. So when you see that magistrate pretending to be holding high standards, but her work prove otherwise, but now her integrity has come through so much scrutiny. For what? That's true. That is very true. That's why I was always saying that let's not ask that this case needs a white judge. This case needs an Indian judge. No, anybody, any race can be corrupt. And then after that, when they do things that you do not like, then you start throwing the race card at them. At the end, you're like, why did you trust that a white judge will be more honest over a black judge, over an Indian judge, over a colored judge? I did not understand that argument at all. Let's continue. Sonto Kumete says Stein is a liar, so don't even talk about it. Okay, I throw away the keys. Last says it's unfortunate magistrates and even some judges have pride. So one of my late brothers was always in trouble with the law. He used to pay his way out, paying from prosecutors to magistrates. Police were worse. Wow, woo, wow. Cynthia says she's the okay, he's the killer. Deconisa says accused number five looks calm and dangerous. You know what they say about the eyes of a person who's killed? You can actually see the people that he has killed in their eyes. That is why they're a little bit scary to look at. Mrs. Ayasha says 2020 February, Bayalwa, Jiggy Jiggy. July 2020, a plan is made to pin some people to the case. Very interesting indeed. Cynthia says self-appointed experts Nkwabini Izungu or Kwabini Izungu. So I am told, right? Mrs. Aisha says the magistrate was writing. He said Andinga Zanga, and the lady was okay. And then those what do you call this? Those emojis that I cannot see. They're just in words. Moses Baloyi's camp is not resting this weekend, but God is for all of us. The ship is wrecking soon. Amen to that. Modi Reedy. Modi Reedy says, remember magistrate said she was uncomfortable by presence of those police officers in her evidence in chief. I remember. Was she intimidated by Gininda? That's the fifth person apparently people say was present in the room, probably making sure that she's doing her job as well as the interpreter is misinterpreting everything that accused number two is telling the magistrate. What if I say, what if she deliberately left an open door for the defense? I think so. I think so. And then Aisha says that the lady was typing. Advocate Mnisi. Okay, let's see. Lucia says we need that video, Noni, please. Noni, y'all are putting me in trouble with the clan because y'all drop things like the tea and then y'all don't deliver and then they all come to my DM like, hey. Mrs. Aisha says Guinea must be having a lot of skeletons in the closet for him to hook up with a policeman who hangs out with hostile boys. And that one I will never understand for as long as I live. Tandy says, Noni, this Gininda is in the circle of cult, the not fearing one that but Nkulu Ntuluntulu dismantled the Muti in the witness stand. Everyone come to lie, will or lies will be confused. Nicolisa says, Merv, you 03, I wish they can, but what I heard, a witness can't be cross-examined by two lawyers for the same case. Well, apparently you can recall. Apparently you can recall according to the law. What's his name? Ramusipili did quote, but the judge decided to ignore it, but he went with a precedent to make his ruling. Gugushange Mtasekaya, what's up? Also recall to Melo Madala if possible. When's it? Ntombi says Gininda and Zungu are both Inkabis or they are in the pockets of Inkabis, allegedly. Mer says it's not possible to recall Zungu to be drilled by Mngomezulu. I would love that. Oh, I would love that. That would be a showdown. I'm telling you, that would be a showdown. Okay, let's go to others. Lady C says Mshololo will ask her about her qualifications. I think that the magistrate already cut through that so that she doesn't get asked. But it would be interesting to ask which LLB she has, is it post pre 1994 or post 1994? And if she ever upgraded her BPROC, because I think that's what they used to do, they used to have BPROC. So did she actually what do you call this, advance that into the constitutional what do you call this, dispensation? Because those two, one is English Dutch law. That's what she was trained on. And the other one is constitutional democracy, and the constitution being the supreme law of the land. So I would like to hear that qualification myself. You're absolutely right. But I think she, in the beginning, she kind of like, like, don't ask me that. This is who I am. Depot says, let's appoint the clan to represent. We want our LLB when we're done with this case, honestly speaking. Uh, Jose says Mngomezulu is one of the best. May the Almighty God bless him abundantly. Absolutely. I say it again. The most beautiful thing to watch Mngomezulu, I'm telling you. Tikolisa says Mngomezulu is not a walkover. He knows how to put the judge in his place. And kamnandi kanjani. Kamnandi kanjani. Tanti says Mshalolo is coming for her qualifications. Makamela says, I will protect you. Thank you. Usile U7 Ubani $7 now. Me Cronier. Guys, let me close it here. What's $7? Guys, let me go. Let me go. Thank you all so much for being here. I highly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Azaya. Purchase super stickers. And I have not seen you in the chat. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I've been going up and down the live chat. I have not seen any other. I appreciate you guys so much for always participating and supporting this channel. You all must be blessed always. Always. That's my prayer. That's my prayer for each and every one of you to be blessed abundantly for everything that you guys do, your kind heartedness. I appreciate the maturity, your intellect. I love interacting with you guys, as you already seen, evidently, with the guests that I had on the channel, representing all of us. This is who we are as the clan, the self appointed experts. Brainy. We are brainy. Thank you guys so much. Let's see each other on in the new week when the cross examination of Cronier continues and Nisi is taking the floor in cross examining her, and I hope it's going to be fire. I still think that Mngomezulu is going to come at the end for re-examination, or maybe for clarity, and then go for the jugular and finish her off. And then hopefully we're going to have Giaco at some stage. I'm not quite sure. I would like to see and hear who on earth is he. Guys, thank you all so much for being here. Much love from me. Much blessings. Thank you. Bye. 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 Bye.